About the political implications here with Nancy Pfotenhauer. She was a senior advisor and national spokesperson for the McCain presidential campaign. Simon Rosenberg is the president of NDN, a left-leaning think tank, and a former campaign advisor to President Clinton. So what is going to be accomplished here, Nancy, as clearly they have the votes, Republicans do, in the House, to repeal whatever of this they want, but where does it go from there?
Well, I think it remains in the public debate, which is part of what the Republicans want to do. They want to continue to focus on this. And what you'll see is, of course, a lot of emphasis and pressure on the Democrats who keep the Republicans from getting to that magic vote number 290 that would allow them to overturn a veto. And, of course, the Democrats just suffered historic losses in this past election because Americans were fed up with spending and because of this bill that was forced down their throats. So this is good politics and good policy for the Republicans. Simon,
any Democrats you know of who might be rethinking health care, people who voted for it the first time around, who might vote for repeal now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I just disagree with Nancy that this is good politics for the Republicans. I mean, look what this bill is going to do in the next few years. It's going to make health care better for all Americans. It's going to extend coverage to tens of millions of people who don't have it. It's going to lower costs to small businesses, allowing them to give better health care to their employees. And it's going to lower the deficit. And so I think the Republicans are making a huge mistake. They told us they were going to focus on the economy. This bill is good for the economy.
Well,
they're already going against their own commitments to the American people. They're already going against their own commitments to the American people to focus on jobs and lower the deficit. This does neither.
Simon,
and I think it's a huge mistake by the Republicans.
As you know, Simon, Republicans are calling this the job-killing health bill or health law.
Well, they're not calling that anymore. They've changed the language on that in the last couple of days.
Well, actually, the price tag on this over 10 years is about $1 trillion. It's going to add about $500 billion to the deficit.
That's just a lie, by the way. That's just simply not true, Nancy.
No, that
the
is
CBO
not.
has said repeatedly that it's going to lower the deficit over time.
Simon,
you can't make this stuff up on the air, Nancy.
Simon,
you're making it up.
Let me finish my point.
Yeah.
No, they got to their tortured estimates by moving things off budget and through all sorts of gimmicks. It would be the same as saying my financial situation is X, but I leave out my mortgage payment. This thing will cost the country big bucks at the same time that it's a huge takeover and very intrusive into people's lives. Americans don't like it, and you guys are in denial.
Simon, I think it's clear that if you add 30 million people to the taxpayer or to, the health care rolls, it's going to cost you more money, isn't it?
Well, I think the theory behind this over time is that, A, there's going to be more revenue coming in through some taxes that are going to be put into the system, right, so that in order to help pay for the extended coverage. But, B, I think what we have to realize is that by people having more constant coverage, it means there are less extreme cases, and that over time that brings costs down. The big challenge here that we all have, both parties, is how do we get costs down of health care over time while extending more coverage? That has to be a goal. We need better health care for more people, cheaper costs. This is a good first step, and I think the Republicans would have been much better off coming to Washington saying we want to improve this good bill and make it better as opposed to repeal it. They've misjudged the environment of the country right now, and I think they're going to pay a heavy price in the next few weeks.
Nancy, have they misjudged?
Of course they have. And I mean, again, I don't know how you look at the last election cycle and think they've misjudged. This is not the way to bring costs down. The way to bring costs down is to increase competition. Instead, they basically said to the insurance company and then to Americans, we're going to force every American to buy your product. You tell me how that's going to lower the price or increase competition.
A quick final thought, Simon.
I think the Republicans are off to a bad start here in Washington. They said they were going to focus on lowering the deficit, creating jobs. They're now focusing on a health care bill that does lower the, to repeal the health care bill that lowers the deficit and that helps with the overall economy. They're off to a bad start, and I think it doesn't augur well for them over the next few months.
Simon Rosenberg and Nancy Pfotenhauer. You can see why the arguing goes on Capitol Hill. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Yep.
Earlier, we talked about the brand new government report that half of Americans under the age of 65 have some type of pre-existing medical condition. Can that really be true? Coming up, Dr.